about. And I also want to talk about the passion that God has already given us, that we were born with. Now, first I want to start with, what is worship? Would anyone like to volunteer as tribute? No? No one wants to? Well, the dictionary, we always go to the dictionary. It says, worship is the formal or ceremonious rendering of such honor and homage, and adoring or reverence, meaning something that you take time with to prepare something for, and dedication, and it's something you hold bigger than yourself. But notice the definition I gave. It doesn't say anything about God. We come to Legacy and we have worship. You know, the band plays, we rock out, and it's awesome. And then comes the slow songs, and it's so beautiful because we're here glorifying God, and it's a very tender and sweet moment in the presence of the Lord. And it's a major part of the service, and a major part of our relationship with God, because that's the moment that we give back to Him and we thank Him. But worship isn't always music. I know we use it here. How many of you know that worship isn't music? Now, in order to further prove that point, I have a little thing prepared for you guys. We're going to So we start off with the regular worship song. Woo! I know you came. Yes, Lord. The world will only sign for us to know your name. And live within the Savior's love, and you took my place. Knowing you crucified, and you love, you love. We were undeserving. And at first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. And I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, but I grew strong. Yeah. And I know how to carry on. I was like, for as long as I know how to live, I know to stay alive. I got all my life to live, I got all my life to give. I will survive, I will survive. 'Cause through you, I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause you give me strength. Every day I'm shuffling, party rockers in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time, and we don't want to lose your mind. We just want to see you praise Him with all of the music. Praise Him with this generation. Jesus, the light of salvation. We praise Him, we praise Him. That's not your regular worship service, but music and worship music, without the right motivation behind it, it's pretty interchangeable. The same chords, the same notes, even like ole, 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 ole.
Yeah.
The Planet Shakers have a song, they just took the melody and changed it. Oh, praise! And Hillsong was lazy. They're like, oh, we don't need to change the lyrics, just stick it and go, and it works. But if not, without the right fuel behind worship, the right dedication, the right meaning, it's worth nothing.
Yeah.
So the title of my message tonight is, What's Your Fuel? Turn to your neighbor and say, what's your fuel? I always want to find out. Okay. Our passage tonight is in Acts chapter 17, verse 24. So while you're turning to Acts 17, verse 24, I'm going to give a little background. Paul's in Athens, in ancient Greece, and they worshiped many gods. They had the god of the sky, which was Zeus. They had the god of love, the god of war, another god of war. They like war. And they had different altars made for these gods. And then Paul was walking, and he saw that kind of disturbed him, you know, many different idols. But then he saw an altar to an unknown god, and he got a little confused, and he was like, what's this? So Paul, being Paul, he decided to say something about it, because Paul always has something to say. So he goes and he tells them that this unknown God is God, the one and only. So in verse 24, he tells them, the God who made the world and everything in it, who is Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made of human hands, nor is he served by human hands as if he needed anything, because he himself gives life and breath and everything to everyone. From one man he made every nation and the human race to inhabit the entire earth, determining their set times and the fixed limits of their places where they would live. And the main verse of the night is in verse 27. And it says, so that they would search for God and perhaps grope around for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. Let me read that part again. So that we would search for God, grope around for him, and find him, though he is not far from each and every one of us. So we see here that in Athens, they felt like something was missing. They had all these gods, they had all of these things to keep up their time, all these things to worship, all these things to hold in reverence. And that was their fuel, that's what was got them through the day. But something was missing enough so that they had an altar just in case there was this God that they hadn't met yet, this God that they hadn't experienced yet, just in case. See, God already made us with a place for him. It says here, so that we may search for him and grope around for him, like a blind person trying to find something, trying to find it. Some version, meaning that there's a God hole inside of us, a place where God should be. And that's going to lead us to worship something bigger than ourselves. That's our fuel. That's our passion, in a way, to try to find something that's bigger than ourselves, to find that God, that thing that's going to fill that hole that's inside of us. We were born with that. We were born with that drive, that passion inside of us. And in our quest to find God, we try filling that hole with different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be destructive. It can be like a boyfriend, or a girlfriend, or maybe a dream you have, or a job. And the Athenians, they were investing in all these different gods. But just in case, like I said, just in case they had that unknown God. And some of us tonight are just like the Athenians and have that just in case altar. Just in case all these things that I'm investing in, just in case all these friends that I'm trying to, they're going to make it in for me, just in case, I'm going to go to Legacy tonight, just in case all those things aren't going to fulfill. Just in case that job I'm spending all my time in, just in case I'm going to get a Bible app that reads me a verse every day. Just in case I'm going to go to Sunday morning service. Just in case everything I'm doing in my life isn't working out. But it doesn't work that way. We'd still be empty, filling our time and using all of our energy, all of our passion to those things that aren't going to satisfy us. And guess what? That's worship. Where your passion is, that's where your worship is going.
Yeah.
It's taking up your time, that's your God.
Yeah.
That's what you're worshiping. And verse 27, it says, so that we should seek God and perhaps feel our way towards him and find him, though he is not far from any of us. He is not far from any one of us. He's closer than you think. Jesus himself says, seek and you will find. He also says that whoever's thirsty, come take a drink and you'll never be thirsty again. So many times we're wasting that fuel, that passion. And in fact, he's right there, waiting for the moment that you say, okay, God, I know it's you that's going to fill me up. And he's waiting for you to just tell him to come in. He's waiting. And he's not going to come in. He's a gentleman, so he's not just going to barge in. He's just waiting for that moment that you realize that he's the only one who can fill you up.
Yeah.
And once he becomes your passion, once Jesus becomes your passion, it doesn't stop there. Your passion doesn't end just because you find that thing that you've been looking for your whole life. He fuels you to do other things. Your life becomes a worship to God. And that can manifest in many ways. Like even in the Bible, you see that Miriam danced when the Red Sea parted and they were on their way to the Promised Land. She was dancing. That's how she worshiped God. David, he wrote songs. I like to use the piano. That was always my passion. I use that to worship God. And then there's Job in the Bible. He wasn't a rock star like David, or so you can dance with Miriam. He had obedience. When everything in his life was taken away from him, he never stopped worshiping God. The first thing he did when his servant came up to him saying, Job, your help for down from heaven. The first thing he did was got on his knees and he worshiped. And I consider myself a worshiper, and I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, So the people, you see, the people of Athens, they were not satisfied. What they worshipped did not satisfy them. They were using the wrong fuel. So, what I want to ask you tonight, where is your fuel?
Yeah.
Is it something that's going to keep you sustained, or something that's going to keep you unsatisfied? When Jesus becomes your passion, then Jesus becomes your fuel, and then you will be satisfied. That's when you know that your worship is in the right place.